Hello everybody and welcome to the 100th episode of Report This Posts. My name is Geiger and that is Christian.
Cannot believe we've done 100 of these.
And we are your hosts with the posts. Every week Christian and I select a different topic and then find horrible posts for your listening pleasure. And this very special week's topic is one that's so close to our hearts, and that's podcasts.
Wow. Wow, dude. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
100 episodes, podcasts. Jesus Christ.
Now, I don't know who that guy is, and we'll get to him in a minute.
Oh, it's my bad.
Yeah, so in the meantime, Christian, what did you do today to celebrate the 100th episode recording?
I took 3 naps today, so that was almost a record for me. So
wow, what is the record?
6.
Jesus Christ. Is that what induced 6? Is it mostly alcohol, would you think?
No, I think it's depression mostly.
Okay.
What would do that?
So you have a good chance these days to break that record, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Great. I did nothing today, so.
Okay, so
cool.
Similar. So yeah, it's tracks.
Yeah. How about before we get to our guest, Christian? Do you mind telling me what the hell is a podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to.
All right.
So a podcast is a digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device, typically available as a series, new installments of which can be received by subscribers automatically.
All right. That's it, huh?
That's the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of podcast. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Now, some people don't know this. The younger folks don't know that the pod in podcast is from iPods, which was the predecessor. Is that the word? Predecessor to the iPhone?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess. I mean, it was a music player. It didn't make calls, but sure, whatever you want to say.
All right. You know what? I'm tired of this shit. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest. He's a gentleman who's well acquainted with podcasts himself. He's on one.
That's right.
It's called Podcast About List.
Thank you.
Does that sound right?
That's exactly right. You don't understand how torturous it is to have Christian say that he takes 7 naps a day, and I can't say anything, dude. What the fuck is this? What kind of game are you running on me? You're trying to keep me silent, dude.
This is Caleb, everybody. Welcome, Caleb.
I'm happy to be here, boys.
Yeah. So, what do you think about Christian's habits these days?
7 naps a day. Are you on the Ubermensch sleep cycle? Is that what it is?
That's right.
Is that what you're doing? You're doing
That's
like 25 minutes?
Yeah.
That's all. That's your only sleep?
It's 20 minutes every 2 hours, and I'm just up all the other time, just pacing the house.
I heard that kills your erection.
Don't need help with that either, so it's good.
Oh, nice, dude. It's
a
win-win.
I am cruising. I am just checking boxes left and right.
So Caleb joins us from his podcast, which is it's a couple funny guys. They read stuff they found on the internet. And
Does that sound like...
interesting.
I've been caught. I've been nabbed.
Did you guys? You have more episodes than us. Did you start before us? I have no idea.
When did you guys start?
We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary in a couple weeks.
You guys were a little before us.
Okay.
I think we were December 2018.
Okay.
So very interesting indeed.
So just enough for us to mind thieve you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you guys?
We perfected it. You know
That's true. Yeah.
You guys started it, and then we realized what was wrong. It was mostly you two. You guys were the wrong part. And so I added me and 2 other guys.
And of course, those other guys are.
That's fat guy and a skinny guy.
You gotta have them both. Christian and I, we have both of those for both of us at various times. We like to.
You guys kind of
like to
fluctuate
trade
on
off.
our toes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Go up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
down?
That's part of the joys of the show is listening to how our jowls affect the recording.
Well, I can definitely
over
see
the months.
Christian has a fat guy's voice, but a skinny guy's body. I can see in his photo.
Thank you.
What a compliment, my
There you
God.
go.
That's one of the best ones yet.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we're since this is such a special episode, we have such a special guest. We're going to go ahead and get on with our post. We have a lot here today. This is also our first episode of our whole Patreon only full episode thing, so we'll see how that goes. Of course, you can hear this part now if you're a freeloading son of a bitch. This part will be available to the dregs of society that can listen without paying us a goddamn nickel. So yeah, Christian, go ahead and get started with your first post, and then what we'll do is we'll go back and forth. Different people will read different posts, Christian, and start with you, and then we'll go to me.
Okay.
And then we'll go to Caleb, and then it'll sort of cycle back to you, and then the whole thing will just keep going.
That makes
All right.
sense.
I mean, it sounds pretty difficult, but I'll see if I can follow.
It's like it's just like every other episode we've ever done.
You're 100 in, man.
Yeah, I got some long posts here, so Christian might be able to break his record for naps during the show.
All right, so a person named Olive tweeted, "If you're wondering why there hasn't been another episode of my podcast yet, it's because I've been too apathetic and depressed to even clean my room. I'll get to episode 2 at some point." I made 1 episode so far, and they linked to a SoundCloud profile of their podcast. Their podcast is titled Alf Life, Dissecting Alf, 1 episode at a time. Alf is back in pod form, an episode-by-episode critical analysis of the 1986 sitcom, hosted by Olive, with a new guest each week. The first and only episode is 1 hour and 41 minutes long and is tagged with the science tag for some reason. So,
Wow. Couldn't even make it to episode 2. That's insane.
too depressed to watch Alf and record a podcast about it.
I think she's depressed because she's not watching Alf. I think we figured
Yeah, there's a
out
cause
her
and
problem.
effect thing here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe she's depressed, and the reason why it might be a science tag is because she actually dissected Alf, and so she killed the poor what's Alf stand for? Alien life form?
Alien life form.
All right, so that might. Hey, I'm just throwing shit against the wall here. Any of our answers could
you
be
think
right.
she murdered Alf and cut him in half?
Well,
It's your first guess?
I wouldn't say murder necessarily.
True. Maybe Alf can live through that and just feel every single, all the pain of
So you
being
just
cut
hear
in
him shrieking during the hour and 40 minutes.
Slowly being sawed apart. Yeah.
So I found a guy named Hoobly Doobly Floobly who sounds like an Alf sort of character.
Sounds like an alpha sort of character, if you ask me. With that name.
Yeah, and this gentleman posted onto "Are Too Afraid to Ask, what is quote-unquote Cumtown on YouTube?" Every time I go on YouTube, I get recommended videos that are titled Cumtown and a seemingly random topic. I realize that I could just easily click these videos for myself and find out, but a lot of recent internet trends have done nothing but make me angry or upset or overall been negative for my mental health. Anyway, what are these videos? Are they good? Should I ignore them? No comments on that.
Good.
No one had anything to say. And I went to his posting history and I found the one other thread that he ever created on Reddit. Novice porn worshiper here wanting to go deeper on our porn is cheating. I want to be totally addicted and depraved for porn, but I keep succumbing to the urge to come and ruining it all. Anyone have any tips to be completely devoted? I want to live this lifestyle. DM's welcome.
Oh my god, dude.
And, no comments on that one.
Too
either.
timid to fucking click on the Cumtown Steven Seagal video, though.
Yeah.
You just can't handle it.
What's obvious with this guy is that YouTube is just because he just looks for cum a lot, apparently.
Automatically
They're just like
populating it. Yeah.
Yeah, the algorithm's like this guy's a cum guy. He must love this.
Yeah.
It's like only
I can't
He's
imagine
saying
being scared of a YouTube video though. Yeah, like I was 8 years old on Live Leak looking at like Saudis sticking pool cues in guys' eyes. I can't imagine being like, oh, come, ooh.
Well, he's saying that a lot of recent internet trends have done nothing but make me angry, upset, or overall been negative for my mental health. But I think he's talking about his own internet trends.
Yeah.
that are doing that.
that's clearly what's happening here.
The 4 fingers pointing back thing. Yeah, that's cool.
Also, porn is cheating is the subreddit.
What is that about?
He wants to be depraved for porn, isn't that? I don't know.
He's barking up the wrong tree all over.
I think so.
here,
Yeah,
man.
It does feel like he went in the wrong subreddit.
Yeah, that's too bad. Well, we wish him luck. Hoobly doobly floobly. We wish this guy luck.
It could not have a better name, dude. For this, could not have a better name.
All right, Caleb. Let's hear something from you, pal.
Dude, I'm ready.
Here we go.
Okay, so I found a user in Nashville posted this in r/podcast. He says, "Warning, dash. This is a very special episode of yada 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 because it's the 9/11 bonus mini episode. I get to ask a crackhead how much cost and how far she will go in the world of bestiality and find out how she spent her honeymoon." Smiley face.
Oh.
So
That's
already
that's
like
one of
such
the
a good
better
title.
That's one of the better descriptors for any podcast yet.
Yeah, I
Got
looked
me.
through his history a bit because he's very interesting to me. And his most recent post is on a porn ID subreddit where he says, "Looking for porn where couples are fucking in a public place and some random guy approach and they let him join." So it's a very specific kind of fetish.
Wait, is this subreddit? It's you think of a video that you've seen before, and
I
hope
think I think. Listen, boys, I'm just guessing here.
Okay, so this guy
Yeah.
who knows how long ago jerked off to the video of people fucking in public, and then a guy showed up and he's like, "Oh, I forgot to bookmark that guy. I got to come back and hopefully
Yeah, so it's
my
like
friends on Reddit will help me."
Your imagination, you work off that, and it's like tip of my tongue. That one.
Yeah. Okay.
But it seems like he bounces around from podcasts to like porn subs to the Dragon Ball Z subreddit. But he also answers a lot of Ask Reddit posts. And my favorite one, he replies to people who have attempted suicide. What was your method, and why wasn't it effective? And he just said electric car. Which I don't know what he like. Is he saying he jumped in front of one, or he like tried to do the? Did he try to like leave it on in the garage?
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
This has taken a really long time. Like, shouldn't I be feeling lightheaded by now?
Yeah, I
think
feel
my
like I would
battery's
give you.
dying.
They give you superpowers before it fucking kills you. At different like points in his posting history, he calls the podcast either yada yada or yada yada yada. And I tried to get an idea of what the podcast is really about, but the only time he talks about the podcast content is back in r/podcast, where someone makes a post asking about like what everyone's newest episode is about. And so M. Nashville had this to say, yada yada the podcast, we get celebrity chef Jimmy Puff to talk about all the sluts in the food game. Which is a world I didn't know existed.
I gotta look up Jimmy Puff right now.
Jimmy
I already did.
You got him?
No.
How have I not looked him up? Jimmy
What do we
Puff,
got here?
chef.
Oh, let's.
I don't see
I'm not
anything,
seeing.
dude.
Yeah, what the fuck?
So I looked up celebrity chef Jimmy Puff on Google, and he's the sous chef at his family's catering business, which is called Puff and Stuff.
Okay.
He just celebrated his 21st anniversary at that
Wow.
business. And the only other thing that comes up is this episode of the this podcast that we're talking about right
Wow.
Yada yada.
But I did find his LinkedIn. He's from Orlando. So
Cool.
Congrats.
you know what? We should have. You know what?
We can
have
get
him
him
come
on.
in. Get him on. Yep, sure.
Talk about all all the hooers he's banging out in the
all these
in
fucking
his dad's catering company's
all these
van.
sluts, dude. These fucking total sluts in the food game. I love that he says food game.
Yeah.
Like it's rap.
So I think so far we've discovered that most podcast people are perverts. So
Yeah, there's a trend here.
I think
Absolutely.
we're well on the right path here.
Excellent. Well, let's break the thread here for a minute.
All right.
This is a tweet from the account for Song Exploder, which is a podcast where musicians do deep dives on some of their most popular songs.
Okay.
The tweet is, "This is an actual email I got from a podcast speed listener," and attaches a screenshot. "Hi, love the pod. However, my default podcast playback speed is 1.6 times. Is it possible to get a separate feed with a special edition of pods where the songs are slowed down? That way, when I listen at 1.6 times, the music parts will still play normally. Larry." And I want to make a note here that each song or each episode of Song Exploder is about 15 minutes long.
Jesus Christ.
So this guy is saving all of 3.5 minutes listening.
He's
at
efficient, dude. He's like
1.6
you with your sleep schedule.
Yeah, that's right.
He's just trying to cut out all the unnecessary shit.
all the hubbub. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know how quickly I would delete that email as a podcast host.
Do you guys get a lot of fan mail?
I wouldn't call it fan mail.
We have a voicemail set up where we've had people you either get really drunk and like drop the phone in the toilet while they're talking, or make me angrier than hell by correcting me on something I've said in a previous episode, or just mumbling for a while and then hanging up sheepishly without saying what their name is or anything.
Or what they called. Yeah.
The usual podcast fan, basically.
Of course. Yeah, that's the 3 types of podcast fans.
Now you, Caleb, I noticed someone in one of our racist group DMs posted a link to your guys. You guys have a subreddit, I noticed. And,
we do, yeah. It's
and
the
it's
bane of my existence.
It's
right
one
now.
of the it's one of the worst things I've seen on the internet.
Sucks, dude. It sucks so bad, dude. Yeah, it's. I don't even want to talk about it. It's so upsetting. And I knew it. As soon as somebody made one, I was like, this will be something that I think about 4 times a day and just pisses me off, and I'm going to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone who has a subreddit that they're proud of or happy.
No, they're not good.
I'm glad we don't have one, though. You guys out there, go ahead and make it. And well, hopefully, what will happen eventually is that people will just post posts on there, and then we can just use that for the show and do absolutely no work whatsoever ever again.
Paradise, dude.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. You're not going to get that on yours because it's one of the worst subreddits on there, no doubt.
It's terrible. I don't.
And we're going to talk about some other podcast subreddits that are truly dog shit. But in the meantime, I'm going to read a fun story. This is a longer post, so Christian.
I'm up. I'm up.
Okay. But it's a hell of a story. It's from a couple months ago where this all happened. This all started with a tweet by @the_Lila_Raven, whose bio describes herself as a queer mama and sometimes I'm funny, which is always a big
start.
gas.
That was the best, dude.
Yeah, because what's interesting is that they think they are funny, but and then they say sometimes I'm funny to be like, they're like making fun of themselves. But what's ironic is that they're never funny.
Yeah, that in of itself is a joke almost. You know what I mean? A hilarious joke.
Fuck, man. The internet's a weird place, I tell you. So anyway, she tweeted this out. There's an abuser in @HellaBlackPod. In solidarity with black women, sex workers, and survivors, we're calling for accountability. We ask that only, BIPOC, was it Black, Indigenous, People of Color, share this statement. Allies can support by supporting black women's podcasts. And then she linked to a document called Hella Accountability. Let's take a gander at that bad boy, why don't we?
Let's do it.
In solidarity with black women, sex workers, and survivors of gendered violence, we are calling for accountability from Hella Black Podcast, which is affiliated with a person who has harmed a member of the community since December 2018. The hosts of Hella Black Podcast have privately been sent a detailed letter outlining the harm, the demands to support the victim and accountability from the abuser, and a plan of action involving the community to support Hella Black in being accountable. It has been 10 months since the abuser agreed to transformative justice process, and there has been little to no movement since then to eradicate behaviors that are manipulative, emotionally abusive, violate consent, or generally align with a radical politic that aims to protect the most vulnerable, a politic that Hella Black Podcast champions. We are calling on Hella Black Podcast to suspend production for 6 months while the abuser engages in a private transformative justice process with the victim. So, the quote-unquote abuser from the podcast is a guy named Delancey, who sounds like he's just a shitty boyfriend, as we'll hear later. Anyway, he had to write a long email explaining what he did and the list of things that he is quote-unquote allowed to do during this 6-month transformative justice process. Number 1. In 2018, after previously agreeing that we would be sober for the first time we had sex, we were both intoxicated and neither of us could legally consent. The following week, we discussed the event and why we should have honored our boundary. During this exchange, I attributed my contribution to breaking the boundary to my arousal. By doing so, I reduced the impact of the event and dismissed the concerns she raised. 2. While trying to develop a politic of ethical non-monogamy, there have been multiple occasions where I did not follow through on complete transparency. During one of the times that my former partner and I were separated, I lied about my relationship status. By not being transparent with my former partner about my relationship status at that time, my former partner consented to sex under false pretenses, which is sexual assault. 3. I failed to consistently reciprocate emotional labor and made comments that aligned with the same unacceptable patriarchal norms that I tell men to divest from. Examples that were addressed include: A. Said that she, quote-unquote, talked in dissertations, which discouraged her from expressing herself to me. God. B. I saw the money I was giving to queer women, trans women, cis women, sex workers, and my former partner as practicing a politic of being a cishet man who gives money to women. I paid for meals, gifts, and Airbnb and other expenses for this former partner. However, the former partner wanted me to engage in small gift-giving more often. In one particular instance, I said I could not pay for a flight and let them know that I could not afford it.
Jesus Christ.
C. Between 2018 to 19, there were 4 times where I referred to white women as the word bitch. I then ignorantly justified my use of the word because my misogyny was directed at white women. 4, despite pushing a pro-woman politic, someone I am close to, who is a former pimp, recently said some very horrorphobic things on his public Twitter. Instead of addressing it publicly, I addressed it privately. This enabled him to continue to engage in these online behaviors. This is only one example of how I engage with folks known to use misogynistic language. So that's what he did, and he had to then outline his next steps. As the harm doer, I felt it important to go along with any process that would result in atonement. In line with that process, on June 11th, I agreed to these demands of my former partner. 6-month Twitter retreat starting July 1st. Ground rules. Retweets are allowed. Specific promotion, Hella Black, discourse, etc. is allowed. Scrolling is allowed. Necessary information is allowed. Otherwise, no tweeting, quote tweeting, replying, etc. I must read 2 letters from my former partner by the end of July. I must respond through any medium during or after the 6-month retreat, but not before August 1st. I must discuss in-depth info about the harm on Hella Black Podcast, with a list of items to be mentioned provided by my former partner to ensure the conversation isn't reductive. I agree to the above demands on June 11th, 2020.
Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my God. What a saga.
Yeah. What
the fuck does this have to do with sex workers? Why did he mention that at the beginning, dude?
Well, okay.
Who gives a fuck?
Well, there was a pimp involved where...
Oh, a pimp, yeah.
Where he was saying horrorphobic things.
Maybe I'm from a different time, man. Back in my day, you're supposed to, pick up a girl on the street, fucking take her 12 rounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Get your money's worth.
Absolutely.
I don't know what the fuck this guy's doing.
I just don't know who this is for. Who is this?
It's for
this-
him. That's literally. I mean, it's
okay,
for
that's-
him. That's just
it's
so
performative,
fucking-
right.
Yeah,
It's
just so
100%.
fucking masturbatory.
I've never seen the word politic singular so much in my life.
Yeah, I
I
know.
didn't even know that was really a thing, but I guess so. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. This is definitely one of the most worthless performative types of social justice thing that I've seen, where you try to turn it into a contract of some sort. I don't
That
know.
stinks.
Well, that's because I mean, all these people have like probably come out of the like higher education system where every sort of like instance of what they call like interpersonal violence is handled by some
Sure.
fucking office that
Yeah.
writes stuff like this. And so this is how they like understand every negative emotion they have about anybody in their lives. It's like, well, it's a contract. You sign it at the bottom, and then you're a rapist for 6 months, and then you're no longer a rapist.
Yeah, this sort of bureaucracy is like what Terry Gilliam would make fun of in a movie from the early '80s or something. Like,
Sure.
it's a very English type of bureaucracy of just filing cabinets everywhere full of sorry for raping you letters.
The one that really stood out was the first one there that they were both drunk and that they couldn't legally consent because they were both intoxicated the first time they had sex. Boy, what a way! Boy, most romantic sentence I've ever seen in my entire life. Boy,
See, to
what
me,
a way to start off a relationship.
To me,
huh?
Christian, the one that stood out the most was when she got mad at him because he wouldn't buy her a flight.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a small gift. It's a small gift.
A small gift, yeah. A flight to fucking Tokyo. And if you don't buy it, well, you're a rapist. I'm sorry. It's just in the rules in this contract that I outlined.
Yeah, so he said, I saw the money I was giving to queer women, trans women, cis women, sex workers, and my former partner is practicing a politic of being a cishet man who gives money to women. So that should be good, right? But
Yeah.
the partner said she wanted him to engage in small gift giving to her more often. So this is I'm think the politic that he was doing was good, but the making your bitch happy part was a lot bad. Well, I was pretty bad at that. Yeah.
You're just gonna keep saying politics. I got it.
Now, speaking of making your bitches happy, if you folks go over to patreon.com/report this post, you can make Christian and I very happy by shipping in $5 a month.
Dude,
And,
I'm a patron. I don't know who you're talking to because
that's right.
I'm already a patron.
Okay, well, I was talking to the listeners. I don't.
Oh,
What is it on this show that Christian? You guys get confused. So I don't.
I'm sorry, I'm easily confused.
Yeah, join the freaking party over here.
Okay.
I'll tell Christian like, hey, so what's up? And he'll be like, are you talking to me? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess it has to be my fault. It would be impossible
It's
to think that
definitely
there's
your fault.
two people out there that wouldn't understand me. So it's probably me. Great, Christian. You want to go ahead and read the next tweet?
Yes, sir. So this is a tweet from someone whose display name is HRT turned me into a dog.
Okay.
Honestly, male grooming companies pandering to podcast binging hipsters with toxic masculinity light is more grating than just straight up toxic masculinity, cause at least true blue beefcakes aren't so irony poisoned.
Wow.
Quote unquote, how to tame your mustache? Fuck off. So this was in reply to someone sharing a screenshot of a Dollar Shave Club email with how to tame your mustache in the subject line. So
Wait. Okay, how is that toxic masculinity light? Or pro? I don't know what the difference
How is this
is.
how is it anything? Is the
That's also a
question.
point,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's the takeaway there is this Twitter user HRT turned me into a dog was incredibly offended by that and drew a couple lines on their their map, connecting some dots, and came up with that tweet. So
I know what they're getting at in general, like, you know, dude wipes and shit like that, right? Is that what they're talking about?
Dr.
But this
Pepper
is,
I
10,
think-
dude.
this is a Dollar Shave Club, and it's how to tame your mustache. It's, I guess, because the word mustache, is that the masculine?
I guess.
I think this has the
Toxic?
word tame in it and mustache, and it's toxic and masculine.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Did you learn how, Christian? Because your mustache it's fairly
Does it need
untamed
taming?
these days. Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm
Come
over
on.
it.
Tame
What do I have? Who do I have to impress? No
me.
one.
Show
Yeah.
me a before and after picture
Yeah.
of your Dollar Shave Club free trial. And that bitch better be tamed.
Yeah. We could.
When they become sponsors of the
Yeah,
podcast,
and I'm sure we're coming up to that. We might as well just reach out to them because I've heard them on 80% of podcasts, so I feel like we have a pretty good shot.
You good?
Now, do you guys, and I am talking to you too, not the listeners right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Do you remember Maddox from the early 2000s?
oh yeah.
I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. I'm 16 years old.
That's-
I
you know-
don't remember that.
This is not surprising. He was he was sort of like the earliest edgelord on the internet as far as
dude.
that became popular.
Mm-hmm.
He just had a blog where he would say, "Hey, the thing you like sucks, pal." And
Yeah, and his avatar was like a Photoshop of him with an eye patch and like a beret. It was awesome.
yeah, he looked
rocked.
awesome. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I have like some awareness of this guy.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't like check him out back in the day.
I mean, yeah, he was like I remember reading him in 1998 or something, like when I was in middle school,
And I was one.
Yeah, so this makes sense that you wouldn't be totally attuned to him. But after like 10, 15 years of becoming rich off doing that somehow, he started a podcast in 2014 called The Biggest Problem in the Universe. And here's a breakdown on that drama that was sent in by users Tears in a Vial from somethingawful.com. He created this podcast with a guy named Dick Masterson. The format of the show rotated between each co-host discussing a problem and soliciting votes from the audience. The podcast had its final episode on May 31st, 2016, which led to Maddox creating a new podcast site called Madcast Media. In November 2017, Maddox filed a $372 million harassment lawsuit with the New York Supreme Court against Masterson, individuals at Patreon, and actor/comedian Asterios Kokkinos, who made guest appearances on The Biggest Problem in the Universe and Dick Masterson's new podcast, The Dick Show. Maddox and his girlfriend alleged that the defendants launched a trolling campaign against them, which resulted in rape and death threats and the loss of sponsorship. They cited an album by Kokkinos and a billboard contest by Masterson, which both attempted to mock Maddox, along with targeted ads on Facebook and Reddit. The album by Kokkinos was called Cuckmas Carols. Kokkinos said, "This Maddox guy puts out a video saying, 'I don't like the word cuck.' Well, I don't like this Maddox guy, so you know what I got to do? I got to call the guy the word cuck." And the album reached number 1 on the comedy charts on both iTunes and Google Play stores.
I guess not a ton of competition there.
There's really not, no.
Yeah.
This led to a reporter named Heather S. to contact Kokkinos' employer, the PR firm Weber Shandwick, to rat out Kokkinos for, quote-unquote, taking part in an online harassment and bullying campaign and using alt-right phraseology like cuck.
Cool.
It was later found out that Heather S. was actually Maddox. So, and Weber Shandwick, Kokkinos' employer, wound up being named in that big dumb lawsuit. And a representative for Shandwick stated their plans to contest the lawsuit's claims, and Masterson rejected the allegations completely. On May 16, 2018, Judge Charles Ramos dismissed the claims against all defendants. Of the claims against Asterios Kokkinos, Ramos expressed frustration as to the poor drafting of the complaint and its lack of specific evidence, saying, quote, "This complaint is such a mess that I can't address these issues because I can't specifically point to what's being alleged as against your client or your client." And Ramos dismissed the claims against Weber Shandwick with prejudice, stating that they were named in the suit, quote, "just because someone used their equipment."
I'm looking over this, and I'm truly amazed that it could get so far as to be in the New York Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I just noticed that.
Yeah. Well, what else do they got going on?
Don't they have like an intern who like looks over stuff and they're like, another fucking letter from Maddox.
Yeah.
Throw this in the trash can.
Maybe they're a big Maddox head, the intern, and
Maybe.
just like pushed
Maybe
it along.
he had a rat on the
Another
inside.
one. Yeah, right.
That is possible.
Or maybe it's Greek prejudice.
Oh, they pushed
You
it
think so?
through.
Against Asterios Kokonos. Is that possible?
Maybe. That's a good point.
It might be the best point yet. So that's something to consider.
Perhaps.
Do people hate the Greek?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if we're just taking a poll, yeah, sure. Yeah, I hate them.
And again, I was talking to both of you, not
Good.
the listeners. Okay.
They are larger, louder Italians in my eyes.
Yeah,
so,
and they smell worse, undoubtedly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. You can't. When you picture a Greek person, you're not.
I mean, to
it's not a
figure out
pleasant
how
smell.
smelly a person is, just imagine the food like 2 days old. And Greek food is full of oil, vinegar, feta cheese. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Not good.
Well, it's good fresh, but yeah, 2-day-old versions of that.
No.
I would not. I wouldn't suck a guy's dick who's Greek. That's for sure.
Oh, great. Do we have another post?
Cool.
Sorry, I had to break out that old saying.
Yeah. Hey, I wouldn't. Hey, listen. Cross my heart and hope to never suck a Greek guy's dick.
And that will do it for the preview part of this week's 100th episode of Report This Post. Thanks again, Caleb, for joining us. He is on Twitter @BrainGetter. His podcast is called Podcast About Lists. You got to check it out. It's super funny. It's Patrick, Caleb, and Cameron are the three guys that are on the show. They're really funny fellers. They're all boofos of mine on Twitter, so gotta love them. Yeah, go check out Podcast About Lists. They're on your usual places online, and they're on Patreon. They have some good content on there. But if you want to hear the whole episode, there's an extra 90 minutes of this episode available on patreon.com/reportthispost. That's right, 90 extra minutes. We went seriously long with Caleb. We had so much fun. The posts only get stupider and more fun. You gotta go to patreon.com/reportthispost to get the whole goddamn banana. I don't think that's a common phrase, but you guys are hearing it. This is a free podcast feed exclusive. I'm debuting a brand new phrase for you guys. The whole banana. So go over to patreon.com/reportthispost. $5 a month. You'll get every full episode each week, plus an extra bonus episode as well. We're just pumping out the content for you guys because we're big fans of you and you're big fans of us. But go ahead and prove that you're big fans by paying us money. Goodbye, everybody.